Hey, there's nothing me and my skeleton crew can't do.
This week on Mission Log Reactor, can gibberish save the galaxy? Will Anisha punch Nala or Nus? And where the heck is Occam?
The reaction will be televised! Hello again, I'm Jessica Lynn Verdi.
And hello again, I am John Champion.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of Mission Log Reactor to cover the season finale of Starfleet Academy. We're here a day after a new Star Trek episode drops, and we're so grateful you've been with us for the full season. And if you haven't, welcome.
It seems like just yesterday we were getting to know Caleb Meir. We were getting to know this new academy, going back to Earth, and here we are 10 episodes later to wrap it all up with you, Jessica, and you, our dear listeners and Star Trek pals.
That's good.
Yeah, well, I've done this once or twice.
I was just going to make a joke, and then I was like, I got nothing. He's like killing it. So just keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah.
No, seriously. Look, hopefully you all know how this works. As my dear co-host Jessica just said, this drops the day after a new Star Trek episode is released so that you can share with us your thoughts as you hear our thoughts. So you know how to do it by now. Leave your comments, send us an email, at us online, do all the things, but most importantly, join us Monday nights live. So we've all had a chance to watch the episode, digest it a bit, then join us 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, patreon.com/missionlog. It is two important words here. It is live and it is free. Now, if you are a paid subscriber, you get this video a day early, plus all the other Mission Log perks. But look, don't let that stop you. Come join us Monday night. We will see you there.
That's exactly right, John. And like I said, this is the finale of Star Trek Starfleet Academy. If they haven't watched it yet, what are they doing here?
Yeah, what are you doing here? Because you should know how this works by now. We are going to spoil the hell out of this episode, or specifically, Jessica is going to give us the plot breakdown. We will go act by, you are such a professional. We are going to go act by act with our observations, our gut reactions, and then wrap it all up at the end. So if you haven't watched yet, this is your last warning. Warning? Warning. How about that? I'm going to use that word. I'm going to say warning. This is your last warning, because here comes...
You said warning again, dude.
I'm no good at words.
No, it's like how you say rather.
Oh,
like,
yes, yes.
You're like a little bit Southern. You're also like kissing Connecticut kind of thing. And so you have that New England-esque thing.
When I'm feeling lucky. All right, so here come the spoilers in 3, 2, 1.
Flashback to where it all began. Ake's sentencing, Caleb separated from Anisha, and Nus Braka cackling. Anisha is enraged at the sight of Nala in the present, but Ake makes it clear that they must remain aboard the Athena until Nus is no longer a threat. Vance and Lura briefly connect with the Athena, revealing Nus's Omega particle bomb plan. If detonated, it would destroy warp-capable space and kill at least 160 billion people. The Athena alone, beyond the barrier, is the only ship that can locate and deactivate the field without triggering the failsafe. The signal cuts and the Venari Rahl surround the ship. Nala hides the cadets in the airlock makeout room, allowing them to reunite with Krog and Terima, leading to awkward exchanges between Caleb, Genesis, Sam, and Darum based on what happened last episode. Anisha remains on the bridge to justify the Athena's presence beyond the Omega Wall, as Nus believes she is dead. Nus boards, takes control, and abandons the ship along with Anisha and Nala, leaving behind the Doctor and Jet as the warp core appears to breach. The Doctor acts using a 1,000-year-old holographic projector to simulate the Athena's destruction. The Venari Rahl withdraw, believing the ship is gone.
There's a lot happening in that teaser.
It's over 10 minutes long.
Yeah. And look, I don't want to jump to the end of this segment before we get into the, scene by scene, moment by moment. but we didn't get our usual opening credits. And I wonder if that was just because the momentum of everything happening here felt like you just needed to keep going.
I think that's a really, really good call, because I specifically was like jarred by the fact that we got a weird credit sequence that like now we got like letters flying at us.
Right.
But it does work. And I think you're right. Like, it's already one of the longest episodes in this season.
Yeah.
And it's letting us live, as this episode does a couple times, in the what we think utter destruction or hopelessness of the moment through those instead of rushing us past that a moment, they're giving it to us during the credits. I think it's pretty interesting.
And it was cool. And you got to sit with the mystery a little bit of seeing the Athena, which blowed up real good. It
blowed up so good. And I was genuinely, I was like, okay, I was sitting with my boyfriend the first time I watched it. Yeah. And he's like, what? He just blew it up. And I was like, no, they didn't. And I didn't know how they didn't. And I was excited to find out. But I was so excited, like, when it happened. I was like, that's pretty cool and pretty terrible.
Yeah.
They also just blew this whole thing. They can never use it again. It's like, it's a pretty good fail-safe, I gotta say.
It was great. There was a lot of nice kind of action and stakes layered upon stakes. And I like that we picked up immediately where we left off in the last episode. There's no tonal change, which I think is sometimes, working against Star Trek when they try to do that. I love catching Anisha Mir just still furious. I thought all of that was well played out. And the other thing that I like that we accomplish here, so think about the last episode. You have this back and forth. We're going to Beta Z, we're dropping people off. Now we're going to take the Athena out because some of the kids left in a shuttle and they're gone. Now we end up on the other side of this, wall of death, as Jack Reno calls it. And it feels kind of truncated, but at the same time you go like, but wait, we got everybody in place where they need to be, and we raise the stakes again exactly where those need to be for this to play out. So I think every episode asks us to take something with a grain of salt. And this one does a couple of times. I think the first thing we have to swallow is that, okay, everybody ended up in all of these places, which, look, if you remember 1984, 85, the movie Space Camp, where you have to end up with a lot of kids on a space shuttle that takes off.
Yes, I remember. Okay. I only remember the camp part. Right. And then when things got stressful, I think I stopped watching.
But like that's the thing. You have to buy it. Like, oh yeah, all these kids end up here, and then they end up on the shuttle, and then they end up in space. It's like, okay, all right.
What it is? You get like one.
Yeah.
You usually get one. And we got that one like last episode.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, Tarima and Krog, stowing away, that works, as opposed to figuring out how to get them on the shuttle when Caleb's taking off. Like, because it happened last episode, I want to believe everything did happen the way it's supposed to. And of course, it's the Athena. I do love that she asks a very logical question, like, can't the Discovery just mycelium warp? Like, she's not saying we're the only ones. But it's a logical question. Like, we can't be the only people out here.
Yeah.
But again, I can see our audience critiquing this on Mission Log Live, as they smartly did when during the Come Let's Away. A lot of things are falling into place for Nus.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and of course, Nus Braka gets to make the ultimate theatrical entrance again, just beaming into the captain's chair, and he's just devouring scenery with conviction, and I love it.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And that's part of my overarching question as we go into season 2. So I'm going to hold on to that.
Okay.
But as we're here, I'm just like eating it up. And I'm really excited to like see how they're going to use Tatiana and how the trifecta works. And I love that he's like calling it out. Like, the two people that hate me the most hate each other the most. Yeah. And the enemy of the enemy. Like, it's good TV.
It is.
Because you buy everything that they're going through for the most part, I would say.
Yeah. Let's see. I love seeing the 1,000-year-old mobile emitter. That's
He has been wearing it, so it's, if you don't notice, it is always on him. Which also,
under his clothes, thank goodness. Finally,
is it under his clothes? I didn't notice that.
Well, in this one, he pulled it out from kind of like under the flap on his uniform.
So then maybe he's not using it because it makes me wonder, and maybe this is what was part of the complication of Cask making Sam. How is Sam being projected without a holo emitter?
Oh. Maybe she just kind of is the holo emitter. I don't know.
I mean, that's what I mean. Like, they literally said it took 200 years to create her. Yeah. It has to be this newfangled technology. Do you know the quote? I didn't even look it up.
Leap clear of all that is corporeal and make yourself greater. Yeah.
Yes.
And that was the code. Do this thing and make yourself part of the ship.
Which is great. I'm actually going to look it up while we're talking what that's from. I wonder if it's another Shakespearean thing. But you got it. Like, Nus doesn't know that that's a signal.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I mean, Nus Braka may be guilty of what Khan was guilty of, having two-dimensional thinking. That these Starfleet people, they throw around Shakespeare and Melville, and
That's fair.
You know?
And it is a Hermes philosopher quote. The Greek corpus, Hermeticum.
Oh, okay. So, it is Hermes and not the great French fashion house, Hermes.
Yeah.
Just to be
God, sure. I still wouldn't even be. I'm not that up with it. Channel.
Yes, channel. Yeah. But I love that was code. I love the whole pretense of we're going to hide our destruction by making it look like we were destroyed. I don't think I've seen that before.
Yeah. No, but that's like I said, you can't do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
a couple things that they really gave us this season that they're going to have to top.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, we need an action sequence all the time, but dropping into the planet's orbit like they did last episode, that's sick. You don't get to do that every time. And you blew up the ship.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
That is. Yeah.
It's very cool, though.
Yeah.
I'm in. Let's put it that way. This 10-minute teaser got me in.
Yep. All right. Well, beyond the 10 minutes, there's more show.
Lots of show.
All right.
The Doctor rematerializes, speaking what sounds like gibberish. Caleb wants to go after Nus and his mother, but that may not be the best move. Jet becomes basically acting captain and has Terima listening for Nus's signal, Genesis restoring short-range sensors, Darum flying the ship at a snail's pace, and Caleb working on a program to control the Omega signal. As Nus's captives aboard a desecrated atrium, Ake quietly informs Anisha that Caleb is alive and that their only way out is to work together. Nus broadcasts his case against Starfleet, how as a child his mining colony was not only ignored by them in their time of need, but apparently Starfleet rained red hellfire on them when they tried to retaliate. A trial against Starfleet begins, with Ake as proxy defendant and Anisha acting as judge and jury for those abandoned by Starfleet. On the Athena saucer, Darum pushes the ship a little too hard, nearly causing catastrophic damage, throwing the crew and worsening Terima's discomfort with her inhibitor. Jet decides to go to the plasma core herself, bringing along Mir and leaving Genesis with the con. But first, a pee break.
Well, look, if you need to leave, I can vamp for a few minutes.
Okay, excuse me. We gotta pee before we go, apparently.
Yeah. So again, we're going to cover the last thing first. I felt like that was it was sort of a cheap, dumb joke. It was a little sitcom-y, but I felt like it read as nerves and not Genesis being incompetent or immature. So I kind of give it a pass, but I can see where it's out of place.
Yeah. I think I don't care. I see why they did it. I think you're exactly right. But now if you're asking me to be critical, which is kind of our job here, she's too young to have to know the burden of needing to pee before you go do something. So that doesn't really work. So I think you are right. She's like, oh my God, my dreams are coming true. I have the con. I'm basically acting captain. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
It is maybe she's undermining herself in that moment, but it's significant. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, these kids are now in charge of everything. And of course, we have Jet Reno there, and we'll come back to her because she is wonderful. But like now it's real after they completely botched their simulation, a couple weeks ago. So yeah, it's understandable that this would be heavy.
But you're right. It's sitcom-y is exactly the right word for that beat. But they got out on a joke. I could forgive them for it.
Yeah, there's plenty of other jokes that are not forgivable so far in the season.
There is some good finishing of the Talaxian fur fly, which we'll get to.
The saga.
Really, really interested in it. So the doctor.
Yes. I love that Sam just says, "Where's my father?" Because again, like it's so personal, and it just keeps driving home the idea that this is a different Sam, and she is emotionally finding herself. It's just it's such a simple thing, but what a great natural line to give her.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm finding it a little difficult, because it is such like a 180, even though I know thematically and storytelling wise what they went through might as well be a bonding, and that is her dad now.
Yeah,
I think I would have liked to have seen did we see any interaction? Oh, we do, kind of. After they reunite last episode, we see them kind of have some interaction.
Yeah.
I kind of want a neutral interaction with them like they are now.
Yeah.
And I don't like being like, they should have done this.
Yeah.
But I want that.
Yeah.
So it may have helped me over this little bit of a hump that is a 180 completely in their dynamic at the very least.
Yeah, I hear you. Interesting to see that the doctor is not quite right. Of course, we will get into that. I mentioned that I love Jet Reno in command. I love this moment of her sizing everybody up because it is exactly in her voice. I always wonder how much of the script does Tig Notaro take and just go like, no, I'm saying it this way.
Yeah, I gotta believe she does alter it, because we talked about this last week. She's like, if I'll bet my money, but we don't bet money. Like, I'm sure she's Tig Notaroing it for sure. And it fits her well, man.
Yeah.
Like I love that maybe this is how she's keeping her cool too. It's another simulation. It's another real life scenario that she's teaching them through. Like, it's pretty great. I love that I don't know who wrote it. Props to you, but that she totaled 3 shuttles, and she said that is not easy to do. It's so funny.
And again, just totally in character. And I love, we rarely forget it, maybe in Strange New Worlds, the split screen that we get at the end of that. She's giving everybody orders, which is well done because you're getting exposition across as you do that.
Yes, exactly.
Again, raising the stakes, getting everybody in their place. And then the split screen is dramatic, it's cool, and everybody's saying the wrong thing.
And it's like funny, and it totally works.
Yeah.
It is like a little Star Wars-y in that way, because it does the way, like, Star Wars is known for those wipes and like funny.
Yeah.
But it worked in that moment. You're like, ooh, they're a team. It kind of gave us the heisty thing.
Yep.
100%. And she smartly goes, there's a lot of math between here. We got stuff to do.
Yeah.
So she's not also like wiping it under the rug, but you're exactly right. They're knowing, not showing us, or giving us the exposition in a very Star Trek way, for sure.
Yep. I thought the damaged atrium redress looked great.
Oh, did you?
I thought that was cool. Just like, but it's on fire and just all kinds of crazy stuff.
Well, and their bridge is still on fire, by the way, too, while like Jet is like doling out jobs. Like, they're just like little fires
everywhere.
But it does look cool. I couldn't quite tell if the graffiti was like glowing or if it was like also on fire behind the wall. It was interesting.
I figured they had carved it out with a phaser. So it was kind of smoldering.
Glowing hot.
Yeah.
Smart. That's what it is. That's exactly. I don't know why I forgot about phasers.
It's a new thing in Star Trek that they're doing.
Cool.
Nus Braka. Okay, now we get into kind of the heart of it here, and he's broadcasting the whole thing. And this is not something we see very often in Star Trek. Every now and then it comes back that there is like a Federation news network, and people who are around in Federation worlds and non-Federation worlds can see what's happening. So he is using media to manipulate perception, which I thought was very interesting. I love the lower...
Not relevant anyway, in any
right,
way.
yeah. I love the lower thirds, and it made me wonder, like, who's the intern back there keeping up with the lower thirds?
It's like some Nick Fuentes who's like all in on what he's doing. But this will get him really mad.
Ooh, yeah. Talk about
it. He says a couple things that harkens back to maybe my question or criticism. He says he calls Anisha Lazarus. That's a that's a long time for Jesus to be in the zeitgeist for a Klingon, by the way.
Right.
And then he goes, the revolution will be televised. That's also 20th century jargon. Where is he getting all this information?
Gotta wonder. Yeah, he just had a weird pop culture diet when he was on that long lost colony mining planet.
It reminds me of a very good call out that happens in the comics for the Orville that I believe David Goodman wrote for, and someone rightfully calls out Ed Mercer, played by Seth MacFarlane. You have this weird knowledge of 20th and 21st century that no one else gets. So it was basically like their chance to be like, yeah, we get it. They wouldn't be talking about this that much in this era as he does.
That's the thing. We all make references to things maybe from like the late 19th through the 20th century, depending on your age and what you studied in school, But if we just walked around making references to things from the 15th century, like that would not hold up.
It's hard to put that into perspective.
Yeah.
It's that long. And believe me,
longer.
Life feels right. But that's my point. Life feels simultaneously very short and very long. And I can't imagine anyone who's yelling at me some phrases carrying through. Everything everything we're saying, druthers, right? Is would you rather? Like there is a morphing of the very alive language that we use, but they're very direct references he's making.
It's interesting though. I mean, there is a case to be made that says that Star Trek is sort of translated for the audience now.
Which, as the argument I made previously, that Tolkien does that with the Hobbits.
Yep.
It's being written in the Hobbit language, but it's been translated a la King James Bible for us to read it.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Ake being the proxy for Starfleet going on trial?
I love this. I mean, look, there are other people that could have been dragged in, Vance or somebody else. That could have been the way to set it up. But again, for dramatic purposes, you have to have Ake in the same room with Anisha. You have to have the showdown between Nus and Ake because she is the one who sent him away. More importantly, I think what's cool and what goes back to kind of my thesis statement way back in episode 1, are we actually putting the Federation on trial? Because the question
they really came full circle for that thought process for you.
Yeah.
Cool.
So is the Federation the man? Is it a benevolent utopia? Or is it just exerting, might makes right? And I think we set that up here. I'm going to make you wait until I reveal if I feel like they actually did that. So, yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What was Nus's plan if he did it happen upon Anisha and Ake?
Yeah, I think he was just going to eat up that airtime and just monologue.
Like what was he holding hostage? Would he have blown them up? I thought it was pretty good that we got from Vance quickly at the top. He's letting everyone pick off what's on those planets that are under threat. So that was pretty interesting.
Right.
But I didn't think about that until now. This was a pretty fortunate falling into his lap.
Yes. He could have just gone on air holding that detonator and decide, I'm just going to hang out here until I get what I want. Yeah.
It would feel like the 4 a.m. segment of the Jerry Lewis telethon, like the saddest part of it, where it's like, God, let these people go to sleep.
Right.
I don't know why, but in some ways I do. My dad taped it every year.
Are you serious?
Every hour. maybe not every hour, but like the things he loved, like Charo. He loved
Charo.
Charo.
Who doesn't? Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't?
You got two eyes and a heart. I mean, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was a thing that happened on the weekend. Then we got a call and we could donate $100 or $20.
Yes.
It was a big deal for us. I think it's okay. So it's fortune favors the bold here. Nus gets the two women that hate him the most to go head and head. Like, it is interesting stakes, but don't you think, and I have an answer for this like you do, it's really stupid of Nus to trust that Anisha's going to make the call that he wants her to?
Yeah, well, because again,
resting a lot of his plan on her.
Yeah, and if she didn't, if she said the Federation is okay, Starfleet's okay, but I still have this detonator, you know.
And why does he care so much about a trial? I know he says they're doing a fake democracy, but why do we trust him? We don't.
Oh, we don't. Yeah.
But like, why is he doing a trial?
Yeah.
It's just like a little conceptually hard for me to buy.
I mean, it is theatrical, but the assumption here is that Nus has always been a couple of steps ahead. So if it didn't work out the way he wanted it to, I'm sure that he would still make it work out the way he wanted it to.
Yeah, so I guess the assumption I would make is he's still not got everyone bought in.
Yeah,
he knows there's unrest, and he could be the leader of, but he does have to potentially make a case to most everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like I mentioned before, Tarima's put on locating the signal.
Yeah, for
Nus, or at least the detonator. Why are they the only people in this galaxy that didn't get this broadcast?
That is true. Well, is it because they're on the other side of the wall, or
did they go into the wall? Where's Nus?
No, you're right. You're right, because they jumped to the gas giant later. Yeah, that is a little weird. Unless you just go, okay, well, everything's broken for now.
Okay, for sure.
And then
their short range sensors were the only things that were working. But I only took that to mean like things in proximity to you, not necessarily messages.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And by the way, speaking of Tarima, because you brought her, the inhibitor is acting up again, and I'm just can we please stop with the inhibitor being something that hinges on like who she is and what her abilities are, and because I feel like we did that, and then she got a new one, and now it is important in exactly the same way.
Right.
Just like I'm kind of done with that being like a little bit of Deus Ex Machina, which I'm going to get to as well in a moment here. But I just think we need to put that part to rest, you know?
Okay. And we will get to that in a little bit, because I'm just thinking, what was the warning that she was given? That should she use her powers at a certain frequency like she did previously, her mirror neurons would not take it. So like, I kind of understand the conceit that she has to have something to inhibit her to protect her. Is that true?
Yeah.
Does it?
I can't tell. I can't tell that there is really a thing here. Yeah.
It didn't make sense in that moment that her inhibitor was bothering her.
Right.
Except that maybe she was picking up on Darren's emotions. But like, I'm with you in that moment. It was almost like they were just trying to remind us, hey, do you remember that she has like this thing?
That's what it felt like, you know? And anyway, all right. Let's see, real quickly here. Jet Reno, again, great. We learn more when things go wrong than when they go right, which is just, of course. Her pep talk is great, which just boils down to we're all doomed, get back to work, you know? So good.
I think I do want her in a crisis.
Yeah. Yeah, and we talked about Genesis having to pee, so let's go from there.
Yeah, there's no. We need.
Yeah,
but whoever is interested in that can go find a different channel. Ake rebuts Braka's opening statement, insisting Starfleet has never fired on civilians, but who gets to write the history books? She argues that as a mining colony, Braka's people had resources and may not have ranked among the most urgent cases compared to worlds facing plagues or famine. Caleb spirals, but Jet reframes his choices. His willingness to sacrifice himself for others is what sets him apart. Anisha makes Nala confess to the audience at large what she did to her and Caleb. Things don't look good for Ake. The doctor continues to deteriorate. Sam is not doing well because of it. Genesis hands over the comm to Darum now.
Oh, God, poor choice.
In order to be there for Sam.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you going to do? You're going to do the crazy girl or are you going to do Darum? Like, you guys know I'm being facetious when I say crazy girl.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, then as the trial really picks up steam here, I like seeing the immediate exchange that Ake denying that Starfleet has ever fired on civilians, Braka coming right back. He can frame doubt around that. So, this plays very true to life. I think it's really good. And then Ake says that Omega 47 was being developed as a power source. Okay, yeah, but but in history, great power sources like nuclear energy also can be used to make weapons. And didn't Vance already say something like Omega 47 was being stored alongside other classified weapons?
So actually, they probably were developing a weapon.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a really good point that like he doesn't classify it as we're developing a new energy particle,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
So I think the one of the words that Nus uses is transparency.
Yeah.
And I can see he's making a very good case against their lack of transparency here. Like, well, look at how I'm using it. Look at how easy it was for me to get it.
Yeah. Yeah, and history is written by the victors. He drives that home. But what I like about this exchange is that everything is morally gray here. Not obviously not Nus's actions, but Starfleet's actions, and we just kind of sit with it. We just go like, oh, okay, well, wait, maybe his actions are wrong, but his perception is earned. Like his perception here is valid. So,
I think that's right. And Ake doesn't do too much of like, but this.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that. You actually see Ake for the most part taking a back seat and really taking in a lot of what he's saying, kind of like she said she was doing in Come Let's Away.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
But my question is like, I imagine we're meant to fill in a lot of blanks here. The burn was really bad. Mm-hmm. It cut off supply chains, colonies, all those things. I'm sure it was really bad.
Right.
But they didn't develop any type of communication so that they could say, hey, this is where you guys are on the chain. This is like, why was there no communication with the colony from Starfleet? I guess I'm confused by that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, could
there have been, or was it not possible because of how stretched thin everybody was?
That was the impression that I got. And then even after that point, well, we do have a twist coming, which I wonder if the twist undermines a little bit of that anyway. But
it does, 100%. Yeah. It just made me go like, oh, that's something like a little bit of communication goes a long way to stave off future resentment.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might not have agreed with it, but if you at least like, this actually reminds me of, I worked on the busiest day at a Jewish deli in the Valley, and Sunday was always the busiest day, and it would take people an hour and a half to sit down with parties of 5 or more.
Yeah,
so it was a nightmare, but I knew that if I could at least go, hey, I know it's going to be an hour and I see you and I look at them every 15 minutes. I'm like, I still see you. They're not going to be as mad later.
Sure,
like,
of course.
Also, you're the idiot for coming with 10 people on Sunday. You know what this restaurant, they're here every Sunday. Yeah. But I'm still the bad guy. So like the acknowledgement really saved me grief in the long run.
Managing expectations.
Again, I think you're right that the resources were stretched thin.
Yeah. Well, all right. We cut back to Jet Reno having her one-on-one with Caleb.
Is this really the time for him to feel sorry for himself?
See, exactly. Like, I love it for Jet Reno. I love what she's doing. But for Caleb to be the sad, heartbroken, the angsty teenager in this moment. I know he's not a teenager, but it feels a little off. Like, we're going to pause now to do this.
I think it's almost less believable that he's in touch with his feelings enough to be vulnerable with Jet in this moment. Like, that's not a really big skill set of him, of a young adolescent. But I can understand, because like when they get in the airlock, he said some pretty horrible things.
Yeah.
And now you're looking at all these people in their face.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
What?
I loved that. Putting them all in the airlock. And
it was so good.
Yeah.
And I can understand, as a young person, the only thing that matters is your social status with your friends. And so it could just be taking over what he's going through emotionally. I love what Jet says to him, though.
Yeah. Yeah, she shines. Let's cut back to the trial here real quick, because, Anisha to Ake, what did you risk for me? What did the Federation risk? I needed what they said they believed in. I needed understanding and decency. And that is the episode. Like, that is exactly what I wanted to see on trial here, which is that, you take away Omega-47, take away the Venari Raw. It is about the central question: if institutions, and I guess, equally important, do the individuals within those institutions live up to the rhetoric? Can you have mercy inside something that is built to exist on order?
Oh, and she calls her number. She's like, you probably just went on administrative leave, and this doesn't work for me. And so she filled in the blank of what Ake went through, and it's nothing compared to what Anisha went through. Because if you really think about it, she was supposed to be in prison for 25 years, and it was supposed to be a work camp.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah. Yeah.
There was some good table turning, and I don't think it happens yet, so we will get back to that.
Yeah, but I think the performance here is great, and I love flipping that then into Anisha going further. What she wants is for Ake to suffer, and those lines are intense. They're heavy. It's where she says, "I want you to have no shelter from this. Skip ahead, skip ahead. The only way I get to dance on your grave," Because
she knows she's not going to die. I'm going to make this really hurt. I'm going to burn in how badly you've hurt me. And I guess, to Ake's credit, Anisha has no idea how it did really affect Ake.
Yeah. Well, and Anisha is so consumed by this, and has been consumed by this for 15 years. You kind of can't have the conversation that says, would you be satisfied by revenge? Would that actually be justice for you? Is punishment really what you need here?
What does she need? It's a good question too, right?
Right.
What is Anisha deserving of?
Yeah.
And how does Ake, if anyone, give that to her?
Yeah.
Where does her peace lie? And the age-old question, does revenge make you sleep better at night?
Yeah, because that resolution just simply may not exist. But
I'm realizing now too, a lot of the season, again, they have a lot to tell us in 10 episodes and shorter seasons. We get a early on debate with Beta Z.
Yeah.
We get a whole debate episode, and then we get podiums and a trial here too. So is it to you, as the Star Trek expert, does that much back and forthing with podiums feel Star Trek-y?
You know what? You think about some of the great TNG episodes. You think about Measure of a Man, and you got people sitting around a table arguing with each other. And Star Trek can be many things. It can be action adventure. It can be soap opera. It can be very personal. It can be light. but sometimes they do courtroom drama.
And as early as court martial, right?
Yes.
And also the Pike episode. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
It's a lot at the top of using your words and intelligence or your emotions to get your point across, which I just saw that parallel now, which I'm sure the writers knew exactly what they were doing. But
all right. Well, let's forge ahead, shall we?
All right. Yes, we shall. Genesis and Sam confront their differences now that Sam has matured. Genesis admits that she misses the old Sam, but loves Sam for who she's become. The doctor's gibberish is finally understood. He's been trying to communicate an answer Starfleet needed all along, how to stabilize the Omega-47 particle. Terima locates Nus's signal. Darum knows how to reach it undetected. Caleb allows Terima into his safe space, which looks a lot like Terima's safe space, using his connection to his mother to help her track Anisha and the Athena, kind of like whales. And it works. Ake presses Anisha about what led to her imprisonment, forcing her to confront her own responsibility. Even so, Anisha renders her judgment. Starfleet and Ake are guilty.
Ooh, yeah. All right.
I'm really mad. This is the one thing I can't buy.
Okay, why are you mad?
Well, first of all, did you know that the Omega-47 particle needed to be stabilized? Was that a thing that you knew?
No.
Okay.
That
wasn't like on the list of the things they had problems with, right?
Sure.
I'm thinking the doctor is speaking gibberish when I clock what's happening pretty quickly.
Sure.
Of how to fix himself.
Yeah.
How to solve the problem with what's going on with him.
Yeah.
The fact that the doctor knows what the Omega-47 particle needs exactly does me no good right now. He could have given it to us before he saved the Athena. Why didn't they, send it to Vance before? What? Why? Why is that that is the worst Star Trek resolution for a serious problem I've ever seen? It's almost on par with computer and simulation. Which you get one of those at a series.
Yeah, that's it. You get one.
It's bad. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Okay. Let me try to shoehorn in. It fixes part of the problem, but not all of the problem. Okay. So the part of the problem that can be resolved here is that way back in his time with Voyager, when Voyager encountered the Omega particle. Now, it was locked down. It was super secret. Nobody was supposed to know about it except for the captain. That place leaks like a sieve. So, more people knew about it.
The quadrant's boring. You got to talk to somebody.
Right, exactly. So the doctor could very well have held on to some remnant of information that would be helpful 800 years later. All right, so I'll maybe give them that. But as soon as this came up, the doctor, as soon as we found out what it was, episode 8, that's what Nus Braka stole, the doctor could have raised his hand and said, "Oh yeah, I know about this stuff. Let me tell you."
That's all I'm saying. It makes no sense. Why isn't Caleb, our Gary Sue, and I mean that lovingly, the one who figures that out?
Yeah.
Why did we not see these kids who are now working together figure it out? And why didn't we just save the doctor? Why wasn't him telling them how to repair him the thing he was gibberishly saying?
Sure.
This is the one gimme they don't get from me, I think. And I'm with you, maybe there's maybe it was really far in the recesses of his brain and it just got knocked in there because he got all spread over the space. It's bad. It's stupid to me. Sorry.
All right. No, fair. I love that. I'm curious if any of our listeners will have a more satisfying answer for you, but
bothers me so much.
I doubt it. I tell you what I do like about this scene with the doctor, leading into that scene is this moment with Genesis and Sam. And this is one of those that I watched the first time. I was like, oh, come on. Are we stopping again for another feel-good moment? I don't need this. But then I watched it again, and I was like, but wait a minute. This is Genesis doing compassionate leadership. And that was really cool.
I want to like talk about that.
Yeah.
What was compassionate leadership in this moment? Was hearing, is it, in your mind, is it hearing what Sam was saying and acknowledging it, or like how was she being a leader in that moment for you?
100%. I mean, Genesis is basically in charge of the ship, so that's still her purview until Jet Reno is finished engineering, right? So she is in command. She needs to hear out a subordinate in this situation who is having a real crisis moment, who is having a real problem. And it's not just the problem is that my father is dying, I don't know what to do about him, but it also is screwing with my perception of how do I trust and work with my teammates here. So Genesis has got to be the one to come in and say, yes, I hear you. You're all right. And even though you are going through this, I like you. I'm here for you. We will get through this together. Like, all of it played out well, I thought.
Yeah.
All of it played out in a way for her to not just be all about ambition, but be about how do I connect with my team.
Well, I think we've been seeing it all season. She does have this beautiful true north empathy that she can give everyone else besides herself, let's just say, right?
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't rat Caleb out immediately, and like, she's there for Tarima when Tarima's annoyingly drunk or whatever.
Right.
But someone actually, even in our comments a few episodes ago, was like, Genesis is quickly becoming the heart of this whole series. Yeah. Now, I would add to that, we love a lot of these characters for a lot of different reasons.
Sure, yeah.
But we are seeing the makings of what could be a really great captain, for sure.
Yep.
That's a really beautiful thing to point out.
Yeah, I thought it was a great scene. Okay, what was not a great scene was going back to the flower field. Okay.
Why?
Oh, okay.
You got it out for them, and I understand. I've been along with you on this journey.
Have we established that everything that happens in the flower field, or as one of our listeners says, the cornflakes, is that happening like at a super sped up, immediate mental connection, or is it happening in real time where their long, slow conversation in there is also happening while things are exploding on the bridge around them?
Well, like I said, the joke that they made about renaming Project Firefly is what probably killed Bobby the Vulcan.
Bobby the Vulcan, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it might be just a split second, but that joke they didn't need
it took time. Yeah,
it took time a little bit.
Right.
I would argue that the conceit is it's a quick understanding, and it's because otherwise they're just seeing these two like link up like
just like in a daze. Yeah,
show me that cut. Show me that angle, bro. I want that angle. It didn't bother me. I think visual language betrays it to be a null entropy kind of thing.
Sure. Okay, so I don't love that to begin with. But here's the other thing. It feels like magic. And I know that Beta Zeds, or Beta Zoids, rather, have this ability. They have this ability of telepathy and empathy. I get all of that. But then when they break out of that trance, and she's like, oh, yes, 0.208 here. I'm like, wait a minute. You just had this sort of emotionally resonant moment, but then that gave you an address in space. Those are the moments, and I go back to like season 1 of Discovery when Burnham, or was it season 2? I think it was season 1, when Burnham has a mind meld like across the stars with Sarek. And up to that point, I get we're talking about a science fiction conceit here anyway. But up to that point, the rules kind of were that, well, yeah, every time we saw a mind meld, Spock or somebody else had to be touching the other person, and there had to be an intimacy, an immediacy to that. And this, stuff like that takes me out. I'm just like, no, give me a more Star Trek-y answer than the magic power of love, which is real. I get that. I get that.
So, but it does remind me of how the TARDIS can geolocate people if you put in your psychic feels.
Well, to me, that's more like an AirTag. You know, you're walking around with that in your brain. And,
Well,
you know.
but so let's put it this way.
Yeah.
They've been saying all season, Tarima is very special.
Sure.
And it is a step past what a normal beta Z can do.
Sure.
So the conceit is here, if she trusts her abilities, which, by the way, if she did something like this again, would have killed her, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Then she can use it more effectively. That's, I think, what you're supposed to buy. And I think I kind of went, oh, all right. Like,
okay.
Here's what I will say.
Yeah.
It probably feels not great on your end, not to speak for you, but like it's like that improv thing that I mentioned in a previous episode. If you're not going to tell us what the thing is early on, it better be great.
Yeah.
Once you get to it.
Right.
And what it is kind of good. Like, and the fact that she like just knows the longitude, latitude of space and exactly what that's like a little bit much, but I could have bought maybe her, like, I know exactly where to go, you know, like,
right.
I could have bought that. And in fact, I liked Caleb just like being totally vulnerable with her, thanking her for giving him that safe space. Cause like, he's kind of using it now from what I gather in that interaction. It's been you, it's always you, you know, and the thing I kind of flagged for us really early on, she's got magical girl, pixie girl vibes. And she's like, I'm not a magical girl, but then does magic. Like, so I'm a little annoyed at that.
Yeah.
But everything we've seen them go through, whether you like it or not, does get paid off here.
Yes. This is a thing that we had established. It does have payoff. It is important. And in an episode that has had a lot of science-y stuff in it, to give them the one thing that's like, okay, this is a little bit magical. Sure. I feel like every time we wave our hands about Tarima, especially with something like this, okay, remember, she takes off the inhibitor again. Like, what the hell does the inhibitor do or not do? Because you take it off, you put it on. You get a new one, you take it off. I
was just really glad it wasn't like embedded.
Yeah. Oh, thank goodness. Yeah. No more bloody goo dripping off of that one.
Which, why isn't it like just like in her? Like, how is this improved?
Yeah.
It's still a really bad analogy for like, hey kids, don't take your drugs.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't love that element of it, but I do love what they're trying to go for. If I'm giving them the credit they may or may not deserve, trust in your abilities. You're not a freak for them. The people that love you will continue to love you. Kind of like what Genesis says to Sam, you've changed, but I still love you and I'm here for you. And, you know, whether it was Tarima just pushing Caleb away or Caleb not knowing how to interact with her, that all doesn't matter. She's being encouraged to be who she is. And for whatever reason, she must just be really carrying the weight of what she did to her father. Cause like that, she just probably has not gotten over that ultimately.
Yeah. Good point. All right. We got Reno back in the captain's chair. I love show me pretty streaks of light.
It's so cute.
Right. And I love that visual of the Athena coming up from the gas giant, a little bit different from the effect we had.
It was cool.
Nope.
Question, nice. I'm just realizing, is that her warp at the factor 5, 6, 7, 8?
That's what I wondered. Is it hers? Is it her engage? Is it her hit it? But show me pretty streaks of light.
Show me pretty streaks of light. It's pretty cute.
Pretty great.
Yeah.
Okay, we go back to the trial, and Ake gets her moment to say, hey, by the way, there was a real person who died during this exchange 15 years ago. Told empathetically, beautifully. I thought it was great. And then when she says to Anisha, could you have stopped him? Could you have saved his life? And she says, maybe. Ake says, maybe isn't good enough. And I thought that was a great exchange. Again, we just layer upon layer. What are the real stakes of a story like this? Partly because it is about personal responsibility, and also partly because this is a moment in Star Trek where the speech doesn't win. The speech doesn't fix it. And you don't get like the orchestra and the pat on the back and
that's a really good
resolve it, you know. That hit dramatically, I thought, really well.
I I think it's exactly it did what they wanted it to do, and it worked, right? Like, we believe. I'm reminded of how, as kids, there's a certain point until your morality gray area kicks in. If you learn that stealing's bad, and so you said, okay, this guy just stole a car. Is that bad? Yes. A mom just stole some bread because they're hungry. Is that bad? Yes. And it's not till like 6 or 7 they go, wait, but the mom's hungry, and they need to eat. Is that bad? So, like, we kind of give Anisha this like grace.
Yeah,
they're starving. A man died. That wasn't my intention. But Ake's asking the right questions, whether it worked or not. Like, did you know that someone dying was possible? Did you bring weapons? It pulls back into focus the reality of the situation factually as opposed to emotionally. What do you think she means by saying maybe isn't good enough?
There was an opportunity at some point along the way for Anisha to either not go along with this plan, not bring a weapon, to tell Nus Braka to stop, or to try to help. We don't know the logistics of that firefight that happened in there. Was the guy vaporized, or was he hit? Did he need medical attention? Could she have stopped what she was doing and say, this is off. I'm helping him, even if it means that I have to go to jail because I'm involved in a robbery here.
This is interesting. Caleb in that situation probably would have helped the guy. Starfleet Caleb.
The Caleb we know now, absolutely.
Which is what harkens back to what Jet was saying distinguishes him, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
But you're right. This doesn't save Ake Starfleet from a guilty verdict, which lands and sucks, and it's the all is lost moment. We have no idea what's going to happen. We know that Athena's on the way, but it's a good moment. I'm with you.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's find out what does happen, shall we?
Let's land it. Caleb interrupts the proceedings despite the guilty verdict. He tells his mother what Starfleet gave him: purpose, guidance from Nala, and a sense of home. Braka dismisses it as brainwashing. Nala pushes Caleb to explain strontium, the mineral from Braka's colony. When volatile, it burns red. What Braka believed was a Starfleet attack was his father accidentally igniting the atmosphere. The crowd begins to turn. Spectators blink out as Nala dismantles his case. Desperate, Braka detonates the Omega particle, only to discover that it has been stabilized. Starfleet arrives to take control. After his captures, both Nala and Anisha punch him as a final goodbye. Afterward, Caleb laments an upcoming diplomatic meeting with the Federation president because they saved the day and they have to wear formals and use different forks. Then he shares a quiet moment with Anisha as they discuss summer plans and traveling together. Caleb records his first cadet's log. Season 1, year 1 ends.
All right. How'd you feel about the double punch out at the end?
Stupid.
Yeah.
Really dumb.
Yeah.
Really dumb. I'm like, can these girls hit that hard? I'm just kidding. Yeah. I actually imagine that one broke Nala's hand.
Yeah.
And also, it's like, first, anyone can disagree with me. Go for it.
Yeah.
He's in custody, guys. It's like beating a person after they're in hand. It's bad. It's bad. Not good form.
It's one of those things that feels like dramatically satisfying. Like we have to put a button on this, but in the reality of the show, in the reality of Starfleet and all these high ideals we just talked about, like probably not the best thing.
I buy that Anisha is, you know what would have landed better? Anisha totally deserves to punch him in the face. She's not Starfleet. Maybe Starfleet goes to apprehend her and Ake is like, she deserves that.
Oh, okay.
So that way Ake isn't also going, I wish you were dead. I'm glad your father beat you. Here we go. There's some of these incongruencies that with Starfleet ideals, you and I feel similarly about that.
So Caleb arrives. By the way, nobody pointed out like how suspicious that was. That he just shows up and it's like, oh yeah, bring him in, no problem.
Do you stop the proceedings to mention to Nus that there's a shuttle coming in also?
Yeah, right. That's a good point.
Like if I'm Nus, like, shut up. I'm in the middle of something. It is weird because, like, also, how far out of space were they? Oh, he didn't know Caleb was aboard the ship, though.
No, that's true. So Caleb could have just been anywhere.
But how why would he have been?
Yeah.
And all of Starfleet's on the other side of the wall.
Right.
So it is, you're right. It's a weird thing.
It is a bit suspicious. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Before we get to Caleb's speech, I want to mention there is this incredible 360-degree camera move around the bridge of the Athena. Go back and watch it at the top of Act 4 or Act 5, depending on how you break down this episode.
We disagreed.
Yeah. It is so very cool. Everybody's giving a status report. We get all the information that we need right away without doing a long exposition dump. It's just so cool. And I would love to see the mechanics of how they shot that.
You know, Starfleet's pretty not Starfleet, the Star Trek Instagram is pretty good about showing us some behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But we want that. Please send it to us.
Yeah, please do. All right, the Caleb speech. It is very good. And it's good because it gets across what he needs to, but it also kind of sums up the season arc, right? He talks about his mistakes and how he has grown. And he kind of atones to his friends. He knows that they're listening, right?
Right, 100%.
Yeah.
But he also, for me, frames what Nala does for them pretty well.
Yes. Yeah.
I felt like I kind of needed them to say out loud, Nala helps us in ways that we couldn't have ever. Like, does she help every Starfleet Academy student like this? I don't know. But she is there. She's a sounding board. She's not you, Mom, but she is there for me. And I thought that was really nice to hear, I think.
Yeah. And look, there is so much to unpack about all the stuff that Anisha has gone through. We have watched Caleb's change and growth, and that has been very interesting over 10 episodes. But Anisha is still living in this very volatile place. So I do wonder going forward, will we get more of that, or was this enough just to realize that Caleb is satisfied with where he has come from and where he is now?
Yeah, I think if you are Anisha, you have every right to feel like 15 years of your life with your child was robbed for you. And like you mentioned, what makes up for that? I think if Anisha is somebody that we want to like or are going to like, she has to see that this has been the best for her son, that he figured it out. He got something, and that should be satisfaction. And that's the wrong word, enough to some extent.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, we have that lovely moment, great speech, and then we get the twist, right? So then Ake explains what happened to Braka as a child, right?
We see her hear it. We see her this is what, okay, so you go ahead, explain it, because then I have a question that goes back to the second act.
Yeah. By the way, it is nice on the rewatch to watch Holly Hunter's reactions as Ake, as he's saying all this, because she's putting pieces together in her head.
Okay, that's my question.
Yeah.
The rewatch was so enjoyable. I was like, oh, what did she pick up on what strontium is or whatever? Why did she let the guilty verdict happen? Why didn't she come in with this? It's such a great denouement. It works so well. Hey, look, your son also learned this.
Yeah.
And it's not coming from what helps solidify the case, I think, for the spectators and even Anisha. Caleb has no idea how strontium plays into this.
Yeah.
And he's just answering questions.
Yeah. It's sort of a My Cousin Vinny moment.
She's like, I gotta leave. Well, of course. Strontium does this. God, anytime that scene crosses my feed, I just watch the whole thing. So it works in terms of a non-biased person answering a question so that we can go, oh yeah, she's not just rewriting history here. So is that why she didn't bring it up? Because it wouldn't have read that way?
Oh, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I think from a writing point of view, it's just because you have to have the dramatic thing first with Caleb, and the guilty verdict, and then you have to wrap it up with the technicality. Because if you try to wrap it up with the technicality and then have a dramatic moment after that, well, why are we doing that? Because we already had the technicality that made everybody else turn against Braka.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's right.
Yeah. So I think it really just comes down to a writing choice rather than a logical.
I don't think I would have written it any other way. It just makes me wonder how does Holly Hunter as the actor justify not bringing it up as an option to her case or to Starfleet's case? Because she clearly knew what was happening. Like she understood when strontium got brought up and then rained red hellfire. I don't think it took her the whole, trial to put that together.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it's kind of adding insult to injury, but in the right way. But I still feel like icky about it.
Uh-huh.
We are dealing with a personality disordered villain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who grew up in like without enough answers, without enough guidance, abandoned in so many words, and he raised himself in so many words also. He's, I really see him now as an interesting foil to Caleb. What could have happened to Caleb if he didn't kind of get into Starfleet or but now I feel bad for the guy. Kind of, I was like, oh, he didn't know any better. Granted, he took out his feelings in a really tough way.
Sure. Well, that's the thing. He can still be responsible for his actions. That he cannot be the cause of what got him there. He cannot be the cause of all the terrible things that happened to him in his life, but he still is responsible for his actions,
Totally fair. But reframing him as a child in a man's body kind of thing.
Yeah.
It makes some of his less smart choices make more sense, kind of. Like he really is driven by impulse and filling a void that can never be filled. And I don't pity him, but yes, he still is responsible for his actions. I certainly wasn't saying he wouldn't be.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. But I like that take on him as this child that has overgrown. And I wonder if Paul Giamatti considered that as part of the character definition.
It would make sense why he likes all the rings and stuff. He's like, I'm stimming right now. This feels so good.
There is this great moment, though, where Ake calls him out. And of course, Braka shouts back, "That's a lie." And she says, "No, it's science." And how many times I've wanted that to win an argument, and it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. There's a lot of parallels to our current, megalomaniac with the media and all this. She calls him she calls him Trump without saying that she's like Trump. And I do love that science just wins. And that's why it is important that Caleb, who didn't hear that as an argument against Starfleet earlier, is just giving the information without bias. I think that does really work for me.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the kind of sharpest political truths in this episode is that his beliefs, his identity are based on a lie. And it shows you that, if you're driven by hatred and extremism and violence, your worldview might be built around something false that has.
Maybe this is a good example for Anisha.
Yeah. Good point.
Maybe that serves her moving forward. Like, oh, this revenge won't make me sleep well at night. I'm a little smarter than him, I think, or a little more adjusted. Who knows?
Although punching him felt good for her.
I get it.
I really like that Braka does not go out in a blaze of glory. He doesn't get the martyr death. There's no crashing ship with him in it. He gets exposed. He gets dragged out. He's kind of whiny. It's humiliating. Perfect.
Yeah, it does. It actually is exactly the ending we need for him. I love that, any cash he had with anybody that was outside the Federation or even inside of, it just kind of got, you guys want to side with the big baby?
Yeah.
That's what you want to do? Right. Okay. And I guess that's why I'm it feels a little icky to be like, he's a child.
Yeah.
but you don't want to align with that, and he is getting due justice in so many words.
Sure.
I think that's right.
Sure. So they got the fleet together. That was very satisfying. What cool.
So good.
Love that.
We got it from here. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Awesome. They put the atrium back together in record speed. So,
beautiful.
Like
it never happened.
Yeah. And then
they're really getting their money out of that set.
They are. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I want to know how much is practical and how much is extension.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah.
Look into that. And then we get what I expected. We get our end of season kind of character beats. So you have Caleb and Anisha with their kind of goodbye. Well, we're going to go hang out for the summer, but then Caleb's definitely going back to Starfleet Academy. So that was good. We get our cadets hanging out. Reno trying to hold Lurathok's hand.
Could we just have a spin-off with them, please?
So good.
Give us a 5-minute videos. They have 5-minute discovery videos.
Oh, yeah, well, the short tracks. Yeah.
Let's just watch Laura and Reno. It was such a cute moment.
Reno and Thok at home. Yeah.
Eating cock fun.
Yeah. I loved well, so of course the doctor shows up and he has this nice moment with Sam. The doctor is going to be okay. And then we have to have the earnest pop song to take us to the clip.
Well, listen, they paid Rufus for a studio session. You got to get 2 out of him.
Got to use it. Yeah. Did you freeze frame on the yearbook credit gags at the end?
No, because I just tried to absorb it.
All right. There is some funny stuff in there.
No, it's so good.
Yeah.
I just didn't freeze frame them. Whose was the best?
Oh, I think Jet Reno, actually. Yeah, or Tig. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was very cute. It felt, I can understand why they're doing it in season 1, but that's a season 5 thing. I think, but it's cute. It works.
Oh, and actually, Oded Fair as Vance, his was really good too. The first
he wasn't a child in his.
He was like a young adult in his.
Yeah,
he was that, but his was great because the first line is pet peeve: don't call him Vancy Pants, but then that has payoff in the rest of the text. So you have to go back.
I didn't realize that there was text. That blew by me. I will rewatch that tonight.
Yeah. There's good stuff in there. So overall, all right. We arrived here at the end. Can you even pick one standout moment?
That's a good question. I think we can just say the acting by tenured actors, probably. I do love some of the cool things we see the ship do. Probably, you know what? I will say this. If I look at it from a macro bird's eye perspective, we will talk about the doctor turning into the ship for decades.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty darn cool.
Yeah. And it happens in an instant, so we don't really make sense of what's going on by design, But that's pretty great, and to see it blown up right before the opening credits.
Listen, is it magic? Is it science? I don't care. It's really cool.
Yeah.
What about you?
That was a great moment. Technically, again, that shot on the bridge, that 360 shot, is just great. Performance-wise, I love Anisha, just full of rage at the top of the show, and just seeing her trying to take in what's going on during the trial, but cannot get past her own judgment and hurt and guilt. It is such a great performance throughout. And I love Nus Braka whining his way off stage because, it's pathetic, which is perfect.
It is the ending he deserves, which actually brings me to my open question going forward.
Mm-hmm.
In general, I'm actually sort of surprised that they didn't give us a cliffhanger that keeps us coming back next year.
Yeah.
They gave us the cliffhanger between 9 and 10, which works, honestly.
Very well.
How will they fill the void of Paul Giamatti next season? Or is he an overarching threat somehow? I don't think he can be at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe he comes back in season 3. I guess maybe the call sheet is out there somewhere, and whether Giamatti's in there or not is probably already revealed. It's a big shoe to fill.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Do we even need a villain? How does Anisha play into Caleb's life? Does she start a Starfleet track of her own. You know what I mean? Like, there's some cool things that I'm looking forward to seeing. And of course, let's go see them as sophomores. But Paul Giamatti was a big entry point for me this season.
That's a great point. And I'm glad that you posed the question, do we even need the big bad? Do we need the villain? Can you pull off like a Star Trek 4 where there is no villain, but you still make an engaging, fun, entertaining, very Star Trek story? Part of that depends on the chemistry with the cast and how we feel about them. So can they pull that off? Don't know. I had a similar question. Will Anisha Mir still be a presence? I feel like this season took big swings with getting the characters defined. So are we satisfied with enough of that? Is there more to come on that kind of realm? Or are we going to maybe focus our attention someplace else? And are we going to keep trying to ground Star Trek in the here and now and look at socio-political relevance? Is that going to be a thing? I don't know if you can do that across the whole season. We'll see. But yeah, I'm very curious. You could really take this in any direction because we don't get a cliffhanger.
And I think that's kind of cool. It's not typical Star Trek fashion, and it really works for me.
Yeah.
John?
Yes?
I'm kind of sad.
Yeah.
We'll be at least a couple of years before we do this again. About
it will be.
Starfleet Academy. Do you have any final thoughts for us?
You know what? I do. I will receive the soapbox. Thank you very much. This is sort of a wrap up for the episode. Maybe we'll talk more about the season itself on Mission Log Live. So join us Monday. Here's what I'm thinking. And look, I'm going to start with a little bit of disappointment on my end, but please, dear listener, stick with me, because I'm not going to completely rain on the Starfleet Academy parade, I promise. Okay. Now, you remember here, I said go back to episode 1 of Mission Log Reactor with my final thoughts there, because I said then what I hoped this show might attempt, which was to justify the existence of this massive bureaucracy called Starfleet, and by extension, the Federation, and not just blindly defend it, not ignore its flaws, but make the case for why we need institutions like it.
I'm going to soft interrupt.
Yeah,
I'm
please.
so impressed with your ability to remember anything you say.
Well,
something comes out of my mouth and it is gone.
Yeah.
So.
Well, look, there was the one kernel of an idea that I thought, ooh, this will carry me through the season. And
I think it really panned out to be a big crux of the series for sure.
Well, let's see. Let's explore that. So, all right, we live in a deeply cynical time, and trust in government, education, media, science, in each other is eroded. Now, Star Trek has historically been one of those few pieces of pop culture that could argue without irony that large-scale cooperation is worth it. Institutions can be imperfect, but still aspirational. That we can build bridges, we can put people on the moon, we can care for the most vulnerable, and we can reach the stars together. Setting Starfleet Academy in the 32nd century gave this series a clean runway, a chance to revive that non-cynical, forward-looking spirit that defined Star Trek in the 60s and again in the 90s. And this season, it almost got there. Almost. Okay. So we saw the Federation resurrecting itself after the burn. We saw young, mismatched cadets finding purpose and belonging. And we saw found family forming inside that massive institution. And there is so much good in that. Will not take that away. All right. But jump with me here to the finale when Nus Braka put the Federation on trial. What ultimately won here wasn't a sweeping defense of Starfleet's ideals. It wasn't a systemic reckoning. It wasn't affirmation of purpose. What won at the end of the day was a personal story and a technicality, but a personal story. So Caleb reconnecting with his mother, son choosing his future without abandoning his past, young man finding his home in Starfleet, powerful story. All of that work, very emotionally satisfying. But it kind of sidesteps that larger question that I wanted pushed harder. what specifically does Starfleet stand for beyond just saying the right words? So let's take Anisha Mir, driven by anger, and anger for her, for a lot of people, is very persuasive. Think about the words that Ake uses about Anisha. It's us or them. Your hate will set you free. And that rhetoric echoes throughout human history. Anisha, fixates on Ake, not because it's philosophically correct, but because it is emotionally satisfying. It gives Anisha the villain that she needs, and that also painfully human. She lives in the moment that she was separated from her son, just as Benjamin Sisko lived in the moment of losing Jennifer until the prophets forced him to confront it. And Caleb, by contrast, he found purpose. He moved forward, and that is a privilege that not everyone gets. So here's the tension. Star Trek often suggests that if you just say the right words, if you just reach someone emotionally, you can save them, and maybe even save the galaxy in the process. And sometimes that works, and sometimes that feels like fantasy. And Rubincon, I think, chose the fantasy, but it is a grounded one, because Braka's grievance is built on a lie. The villain isn't mythic, he's misinformed. And that is an important message in 2026.
Ooh.
So, look, the season ends in a good place. The cadets shine, the action delivers, the plot threads resolve cleanly, and on a storytelling level, I think it just works. But this goes back to our previous question here, Jessica. Heading into season 2, what I want more than anything is clarity of identity. And it's not just that Starfleet has high ideals, but what those ideals actually demand, what they risk and what they cost, and why they're worth defending in a cynical age, i.e. our age. Because if Star Trek can't articulate a compelling case for cooperative, aspirational institutions, please tell me who can.
Oh, that's a lot of weight to put on this. But I think it's an answer a lot of us are searching for. Wouldn't we love? No, it's science to be the thing that unifies us all, to be, to use misinformation as a platform of something that can be disassembled. Can Starfleet show us the way? It's a big ask, but they did set the stage for that, and I'd be curious to see if it happens.
Well, we've had 60 years to let this resonate in the pop culture. But, 60 years ago, it was NASA, because people work hard and they all get us to the moon. Or, pick your favorite institution to say, yeah, collectively we can work hard because we've already shown that we can do it in the previous generation. And now we have to reinvent that sense of identity and purpose and collective force to do those huge projects. And we look at Star Trek and Starfleet Academy particularly, we go, yeah, that's great. That's something I want to be a part of. What's the analog now? What are the things we get to do now that says that lays the groundwork for getting to Starfleet in the 23rd or 24th or 32nd century?
What makes me think, this is now my looking, should they have done a post-burn actually dealing with it to better send that message home, if that's what they're going for? Because when are you more divided than when something like that is going on?
Yeah,
maybe we'll get a series like that. I don't know that we need to. And I think you and I both congratulated the series not going there. I think it kind of works.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's so much that does work. Like I said, I think there is a lot of very satisfying storytelling here, a lot of satisfying character work here. I want to see if next season, can you take it a step further? Because maybe it's just me, but I feel like that real world idealism and Star Trek's idealism have gotten further and further away.
I think that is a common lament that we can't disagree with. And some of the most recent works of Star Trek kind of let there be this gray, and that's not what we expect out of Star Trek, and not everyone likes it. And so are we going to continue to be gray, or are we, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to say a lot of people don't like Section 31 without saying it. But I can't not. Anyway, there's a lot of good questions. And because of that, and like always, you guys are going to see things that we can't see. And I love that. You take us to task lovingly, and you share your thoughts with us live on Monday, the Monday after this debuts. And we will be with you on our Patreon for free to talk about it.
Right. That's Mission Log. Sorry, it is missionlogpodcast.com, but it's also patreon.com/Mission Log. So go there to join us for free. Join us live Monday nights. And if you pony up $1, so much more comes with that. So
much more.
Yeah. Jessica, we did it. Not only is that Mission Log Reactor for the week, it is Mission Log Reactor for the season.
We did it. We did. And we're like, wait. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, no. What?
Who's number one and who's the captain?
We
don't answer that. We don't answer it. We shift it, and we're good partners.
Okay, there we go.
In the common goal of getting good YouTube.
Don't make it uncomfortable. Yeah. Any more than you normally do.
I always do. You're a phenomenal host. Thanks for listening and watching. Hit like, subscribe. We'll have more coming your way soon, especially the Mission Log Enterprise coverage.
Yes, coming up. All right. Cheers. Jessica, everybody, thank you so much. Till next time.